Hello and welcome back. I'm Rebekah Victoria and welcome to my studio. Today I am going to be working a bit more on this painting. I have done a couple sessions, the background, then the green, and then this now. It's dried off, so I'm gonna work into the wet paint now and see where we get to today. Yeah, let's get going here. Okay. I need some water first up. I had a little spray bottle last time and it was working so well, but I can't find it. I think my daughter has nabbed it and taken it into her bedroom. I did tell her that we had one that was similar, and I told her it was like a spray to give her sweet dreams. So I think that she's taken mine now by accident, but that's okay. I looked in her bedroom, but I couldn't find it anywhere, so whatever. I'm trying to remember what colors I had out. I know I said at the end of the video I was going to write them down, but I don't know where I put that. I have a new palette and stuff today. I bought the, what is it? Masterson Star Wet palette. I got it for Christmas. And then I bought a grey glass board because I wanted to continue working with the grey, because I like to work with the middle grey as the background for that, so that I know how my tonal values all kind of stack up together. So I'm going to get out some colors here. I still cannot find my my holder for the iPad, so that's unfortunate. I'm just going to find the picture here. This is my picture that I made up on Photoshop of this. Not sure if I have the thing right. Okay, so what do we need to do today? Oh man, come on. I'm dropping everything today. I dropped my jar thing that those are usually in, and it shattered and went everywhere, which was extremely disappointing because I really liked it. Okay, I'll start with these. I might put some other greens in today, actually. Maybe I'll start with the greens and then go to the pinks. It feels like the right move to me. Scroll these down. Okay, what greens do I want? Brown in. Sienna. Do my yellow go, probably. This green's really pretty actually, but I don't know if it's really in here as much. I feel like it's more, I like that one. I think this one is pretty good. We may want to put, do I have a phthalo green, phthalo blue? I don't know if I have a proper phthalo blue. That's like the one color that's not in here. That's okay. I don't think I have it in those either. No. I don't. Oh well, I have it in the proper paints, or in the traditional oil paints. That is okay. White on. I don't want to leave space for these colors. How do I want to do this? New palette, I'm not used to setting it up. The little things that make all the difference, isn't it? Wow, that's a lot of oil in it. I also put some oil in this little bottle. Can't think of what it's called. Pump bottle, I guess you would call it. So we'll see how I like that. That's a new thing for me. We're gonna need some blues out, but we'll start with this. No, I'm gonna put that blue out too. Oh, that's darker than I expected. Let's put this blue out as well. The one thing I do notice about these oils is there is a lot of oil coming out in the beginning. This brush here. I'm going for a size 2 round. There's a lot of oil here, so I can just load my brush up with oil to get a good spot first. Let's try out this color and see what we think. That's the phthalo green. Alright. Well, I'm just gonna go for it and whack it on here and see what we think. Not going on very well. Paint. I'm gonna put a bit of the raw umber in there. That makes it quite dark, and a little of the yellow ochre in. It's a bit of green color. Changes it up a little. Okay, we're gonna work over here first. There's not a lot of the dark, but there is like a theme over there. Okay. Beam of it there. I'm going to put a chunk in here. Always paint over whatever I do so it's all fine. I'm already missing my little spray bottle. I really liked that. So I'm definitely going to have to go grab another one. I think it was just from the dollar store. It's not like it's hard to get. You can hear the sound of the brush. It's such a nice sound. Man, my soul needed this today. I find if I don't paint for a while, my soul craves it almost, like caffeine or I don't know what else. But it's crazy. Like I just need to paint to feel sane. Like I need that break. I don't know how it's gonna feel after having talked through it and taught through it. It might feel different, but I don't know. Throwing some raw umber and yellow ochre in here with a bit of the phthalo blue green. This needs a bit more blue. It's too Australian green. Although there's Australian shrubs. The color of green in Australia is really different than the color of green here. I live in Canada, right? And the greens are just a really different shade. They're a lot more blue, I find, and it's probably to do with the light and the atmosphere here as well. I feel like if you had an Australian plant here, it would look like a different color, if that makes sense, than it does in Australia. But yeah, they're a lot more yellow, and they're there's a lot more burnt kind of foliage and stuff, and that crispy yellow, brown, this sunburnt essentially from the heat in the summer. But it's just a completely different blue. It's it's a completely different green. It's way more yellow and crispy, which is so interesting. I always find when I'm flying into Australia, I'm oh man, here's those Australian colors coming back, the big yellow fields instead of the big green ones, which you'll get here. Because they're honestly half freaking dead. Because they're half dead. As you fly in, that's the first thing I always notice. I'm I miss that. I miss those colors. Yep, I remember you, old friend. So I wonder if any guys of you are Australian and you're living abroad, is that something that you notice when you fly in? I would be really curious to know. or if I'm just like that myself. When I was in Bali, I really noticed this as well. This brush might be too small for this, but I kind of like the way it's sitting. When I was in Bali, I noticed the color changes as well. So I bought this, like, everything was so like bright, vibrant, and beautiful there. And almost kind of like this painting over here, which you probably can't see, but I can put it up on the screen. And I bought this like sarong there, and I loved it. Like, it was really bright. It was kind of like my couch in the studio here, which is like mandala, super cool vibe. I should find it. I think it's like I think it's in my cupboard still. I don't throw anything out. I'm like somewhat of a hoarder, which is great at times but annoying at others. But I can find it. And the colors of this sarong that I bought there, they were so bright and vibrant and beautiful, and like colors I'd never seen printed on fabric before, I feel like, because you just don't get that kind of a color. It doesn't translate in the light in Australia or anywhere else. Like, you have to be like near the equator. It's like those equator colors. And so I brought it back to Australia and it just looked so dull compared to how it was. And I was so upset. I didn't even like it anymore. And then I brought it here and it looked different again. So I thought that was so interesting. I mean, it's also like dependent on the light that you're viewing it in. Like when you're looking at the piece, like if it's daylight or like natural light outside, or like indirect light, direct sunlight, obviously would be different again. But yeah, I found that interesting. Wasn't quite what I expected. I didn't really notice it as much with when we traveled in Thailand, but I definitely did notice it in Bali. How is this looking? Step back a bit and grab a bit of perspective. I think it looks cute. I like that. I like the color of greens that it is. I do wonder if the brush is too small, but I kind of like the contrast size of the brush between this one and this one, because I was using a much bigger brush in this. But I will, when I work into this again, I will be going in with a smaller brush. But it just means that there's more nuance and more colors, and therefore a bit more variation, which I kind of like, which I will definitely have to get to in the flowers. So all in time, young grasshopper. I don't even know what colors I'm mixing up. I'm just mixing till my little heart's content. I should be telling you what I'm using. This one is the phthalo green, ultramarine blue, and a little bit of yellow ochre. I'm hoping it's dark enough, but I'm gonna chuck a little bit of raw umber in. I love just mixing up a small amount of color, because I would rather there be like huge variances in color. Like, I'm not painting one whole slab the same color here, so I don't need a huge amount of color. I'd actually prefer to be continuously mixing so that there's like change and it's not all the same value, and it's makes it more interesting, I think, because it means that there are more colors on the surface. Watch a lot of other painters painting, and I know that they will like mix up a whole section. I do that more with acrylics, I find. Like when I'm doing these backgrounds, I have like set colors that I've made myself that I like to look at using them. But that's honestly more to create a nice vibe across the whole series, like so that it feels continuous and like one body of work. But yeah. With this, I like just mixing them up as I'm going. I tend to like the way they look more with water in them than the medium, so I'm kind of bummed that I don't have my spray bottle this time. But I mean, I'm just using how I normally used to do it, with dipping it in the water, and it's fine. It's fine. I'm just being picky now that I know something better. I mean, once you know a better way to do it, sometimes it's hard to go back. I'm gonna let that sit for a bit and then I'll add a few more colors into it. I think I'm gonna work over here. These leaves obviously were from a different flower, so they look quite different. So I'm gonna have to edit them a bit in my head and add a bit more darks in, because we want them all to be similar so that they look like they've come from the same plant here. And I normally just I have a muddle of paint in the middle, and I just add things on the side and change up the color a bit as I go. Make the new color as I need to. I haven't even touched my white yet. I'm keeping it all using the colors. I don't want it to white it down, water it down, but with white essentially. Wash it out, because as I said previously, I like to work dark to light. So I'm mixing all the darks in, and then I'll slowly add more lights in on top of this. These are just my dark values. And then as I add my darks, my lights in, I'll obviously slowly add white to these kind of colors here that I've already got pre-mixed. I'll mix them again. I know the way I mixed them. And so then I can slowly lighten them up and make them harmonious. There was one thing that I wanted to try with the painting, and I haven't done it yet, but maybe soon. It's where to create a really harmonious blend of colors, they decided all the colors they were going to use in a painting, and then they put them all out on the canvas, mixed them all into one section in the center, and created a muddied up version. And then they used that color. They put a big chunk of it here, or in a jar or whatever. They had a chunk of it aside, and that is their base color. So to make sure that all of the colors are harmonious, that base color is in every single color they mix. Now, I've never tried that. I think it's a clever idea, but for me, I never know what colors I'm going to use. So if I'm adding a color, then it's not in the harmonious mix. Is that throwing it out of whack? I don't know, but I guess. The other thing is, if I have the pinks, you have to use every single color you're using, and I don't really plan my paintings out that way necessarily, so that's a different way to work. Maybe I should try it soon and see what I think, just see how the colors work. But maybe with a painting that doesn't have as variable hues. I don't know. A yellow flower and the green, because then they're all kind of from the similar family. There already is yellow and green, right? Maybe that's how I could try it first to see what I think of it. Just a different approach and something to try. That's always nice to try new things. I've mixed ultramarine blue, phthalo green. This is, what's that one? Burnt sienna? Burnt sienna. Just a different brown. And I'm going to throw a little bit of yellow ochre in. See how that looks down here. Quite pretty. I forgot to set an alarm for my time blocking. I started, hello here. I like to time block when I'm painting so that I don't overexert myself with my fibromyalgia. And also because my family is out right now and I'm going to meet them. And I said I would arrive at a certain time, which I likely won't make regardless. It was probably a promise I never should have made. But I think my hubby probably knows that I'll probably take longer, because I always do when I'm painting, because I get so immersed and engrossed in the process. It just makes me so happy. Makes me so excited, you know. Sorry, my necklace is moving all around. I hope it's not like wrecking the audio. Put this little petal up here. Not petal. This little guy. And she shaped this a little because I want it to have a bit more of a point and then come back around. I don't mind it sitting in behind a bit better. I know this is kind of getting a little bit bitty in here, like it's hard to understand how it's sitting at the moment, but I'm sure it will come to life better once I get some more colors in. There's one here that I didn't add in. We need real darks for that. I honestly might just have to use like Rumber and I don't have phthalo blue, but I can use phthalo green. Rumber and phthalo blue make a beautiful black together. This is probably actually better for the purpose that I need it because it's a green tint, right? Like it's a green tone in the leaf. But phthalo blue is like extremely strong. This looks pretty good though. Down here. I think I need something in here, but I'm not really sure what, so I'm just going to put some shapes in here for now. Because I feel like it feels like it's floating too much otherwise, so I'm just using water and whatever's on my brush. A bit of this in. Just make it look like really sketchy foliage, basically. And let it kind of just sit however it wants to sit. I'm not gonna worry too much about it for now anyway. I'm gonna make it look like there's another leaf here. Yeah, okay, I've got these here, this one here, I got two. These are the ones that I've kind of sketched in when I was using the, what are they called? Oh, I never put my paintings back on. Oops. Oh, couldn't get it on my clothes. I mean, those jeans already have like formula spilt all over them that I can't get out. Alright, I'm gonna work on these ones. Oh, there's not what's going on there, so we'll be making them up. I might just leave them fairly sketchy and not put too much detail in because that will probably balance out really nicely with this heavier side anyway. Help like move the eye around the canvas. I'm using phthalo green, raw umber, and ultramarine blue here. Water medium. Like the sketchy quality it creates. Yeah. Pretty cute. Okay, we need to start getting some lighter greens in there. I'm going to take a stretch bake for a moment, see how we're going here. Okay, we're going to add some white into these colors and see how they sit. We might need another yellow too. Nice light bit down here. That definitely needs more yellow in it. Going to add this lemon yellow onto the canvas over here. See how we like that one. I've been slowly working on my studio more, trying to get the corner behind me looking a bit cuter. I'm painting shapes into it like a terrazzo pattern, and it's looking really cute so far over where my LED palette is. Not LED, that's not the word I'm trying to think of. But luminescent, I can't think of the word. Fluorescent, maybe? I don't know. Whatever, I'll figure it out and write on the screen. I got it for Christmas. It's super cute. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna like use all this lemon up. Oh, it's like a floral green. That's pretty. It's good to know how I make that. Never have made that in the colors I used to have. Anyway, so over that side of the space, I'm trying to make it look a bit better. That might be too light, but it's okay. I'm gonna have I filmed a video over there the other day, and it looked okay, but like it's just not. The background wasn't quite great yet, so just been working on that slowly. I've done a few colors on it. I've been filming it because I'm gonna do like a video of the whole renovation from the studio, because we moved in 3 years ago right away, and we always knew this was my studio space. We like bought it with the intention of this being my studio space when we bought the house, and the basement is unfinished, so we had insulation and stuff, but we didn't have any drywall or anything up, so I had sheets on the wall, and they actually looked pretty good for like, it was just like a cheap version of what I wanted, but it was just to get it going because we weren't ready to actually do the renovation yet. And so we took them down and then got some drywall up, and slowly have been using all of our free time that we don't have to figure out how to make this studio, well, really mine, because I'm the one who spends the most time. My husband's just the one who says yes and helps me. We love that. So yeah, we've been doing that slowly, and it's been fun. You got the drywall up, we got some outlets in because we didn't have any power down here. When my parents come to stay, they also sleep down here, so we wanted it to be able to kind of transform into a bedroom super easily. So we have a futon in here, which I use as my couch, which is amazing. I love having that in here. So then we can easily just transform it into a bedroom when we need to. So far it's worked really well. I lose my studio space obviously when it's a bedroom. That's the only issue for me, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It hasn't been an issue yet, because usually when we have friends in town, we're busy entertaining and doing all sorts of fun things, and I don't get much work done at all. I don't plan to do any work either, so it's not like they're taking over or anything. It's just I want to prioritize seeing the people that are coming to visit, which, like, they've come a long way coming from Australia and not cheap. So I love having them here though. So really the least I could do. But yeah, I've got my parents will be coming here this summer, so we'll see how it is then, because they're coming for a more extended period of time. But it can also be a bit of a flex space. Like, it can be a studio for parts of it and then turn back into a bedroom pretty easily. So I'm really not too worried. Might be fun sharing it a bit. I'm trying to convince myself. Painting, I just need for my mental health. It just makes such a difference in my life. I don't know about you, but I was talking to a friend recently who went to university with me, and we were chatting a lot about like how our experiences of going through art school and being an artist. She's a beautiful artist. And how much we use our art to like cope with like almost everyday life, I guess. Like, it's just such an integral part of our essence and our soul that we aren't our best selves if we're not creating art. Like, this is how we become our best selves. This is what we have to do. So, I mean, it's a good time to know it, because we're still young. We still have obviously lots of time to live, so why not prioritize it from now on, now that we know that it's such an integral part of our existence here. And like, for me, sharing is quickly becoming, I don't know how to, like, very fulfilling. And the fact that some people are like telling me that it resonates with them, it honestly feels so amazing. I love it so much. I don't know, it just like feeds my soul. So that's amazing to hear. So thank you everyone who has contacted me and given me great feedback and really encouraged me to keep going and tell me that there needs to be this kind of exploration of art and mindset in the world, and that what I'm saying resonates. So that's amazing. So if you feel that way too, please let me know, because the kind of encouragement like really lights me up and keeps me going right now. Because sometimes when things are tough, you are ready to give up a lot more easily, and I have been in that headspace a little lately, and I know that it would be a real shame to give up now, because I feel like I'm just on the verge of things. I don't know if you have ever felt that way, when you're like so close to the finish line and you're like, should I just bail now? Like, I have 300 meters of this marathon left to run. I'm so exhausted and I've had enough. Or do I just keep going and finish it out? But like, obviously that's where the real marathon begins, once you finish it and get back to life, right? Yeah, I really appreciate the feedback that everyone's been giving me. Really inspires me to keep going. And I hope that this inspires you to keep going too. Oops, that was a lot of white I just added to that color. And some more green and blue back in. These aren't exactly like the reference, but I am painting a bit intuitively here, because I want them to feel harmonious in a way that a photo isn't going to pick up on. Like, this photo is just a moment in time. All these photos that I've collaged together essentially are just a moment in time. Like, they're not, yeah, a photo is just a moment in time, and it doesn't have any deductive reasoning or any reason like other than if the photographer's manipulated it at all. It just does what it thinks is right, especially if it's on auto mode. and guesses, essentially. And that's how cameras kind of work. They just like guess what would be the best, and like that's how they lose a lot of the information that could be in the picture. It's kind of like our minds though too, like when we're so focused on one thing, it can be so easy to miss other things. Oh, I got paint on my thing, first bit of paint. When our brain's so focused on one thing, it's looking over here, like misdirection, I guess, essentially. And then the thing we really want might be over there, but we're too busy focusing on one thing that we can't even see the other thing happening right before our eyes. Key thing in manifestation too, right? Like when you're priming your subconscious to see the things you want it to see, then it's going to pick up on that more and more and more. Say you see a specific car that you think you want, then you suddenly notice you see 500 of them everywhere on the streets, and you're like, how do I just notice this now? Are there more in the world? There's not more. You're just noticing them now. So it's so interesting how the brain takes all that information and then just only spits out what it thinks is important. It's very similar to the camera in that way. But you're losing so much information in the process, aren't you? Well, as artists, we have to use our intuition and our creativity, our deductive reasoning, and add in those bits that don't feel like they've been seen or given enough attention to. Let's sit back and have a look. Not sure what I'm thinking yet. It's in that kind of middle phase where I never like it, so just got to keep going. It's just looking a bit like too many bits, like too many brush strokes, too many lines, but get there. But a few bigger brush strokes in might help. I should probably really go to a bigger brush, but I'm not going to right now. I might in a little bit. I'm just going to put a few thicker areas. Like, collect a few of the darks and group them together kind of thing, or even add a few in to make it feel like they're sitting behind the flower. Well, not behind, but like underneath the flower. If they're too bright, like they're calling too much attention, and then the flowers aren't getting the attention that they deserve. Like they're really the focal point of this painting, not the foliage, not the leaves. The leaves are the chorus, or the people dancing around the main thing. Painting is just so freaking fun. I don't know why other people don't do it. I don't understand. They probably say, I don't know why you're so obsessed with it. I don't understand either. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. Once I get a bit more into the flowers too, I think that will definitely pack a bit bigger of a punch. I would love to get all the greenery like kind of done today. Not sure if I will have time to, or energy to. Get out some of the questions that have been sent to me and answer some while I'm painting here. I get sent questions now and then, and I like to kind of store them away, and obviously I answer the people that send them to me, but I keep track of them too, so that I can share them in the future, but I haven't in a while, so I should answer a couple questions on here. I could even chuck a Ask Me Anything box up on Instagram or on YouTube and ask for comments, questions. I do remember one of them was when did you start painting and how long have you been painting? And I started oil paints in grade 9, I think it was. And I'd done a whole bunch of other mediums at that point. I was going to a art class outside of school, and we worked a lot in drawing and pastels. I did quite a few pastels. Yeah, I really love pastels. I haven't worked in pastels in so long. I should get them out again. I have this beautiful box that my uncle made for my pastels because I was working in them so much, and then I've stopped. I have a lot of them. So I started oils around grade 9, I think it was. Might have been later. I really don't remember when I started them. That's ridiculous. I used to have art classes when I was little too. Like in preps, grade 1 type thing, I always was in art classes outside of school. It'd be like a Tuesday or a Wednesday evening. I loved them. They were so awesome. They were more like a guided paint workshop, and I would just follow along. Yeah, they were great. They were really foundational for me, and I really enjoyed doing those. And then I stopped, I think, about grade 4, and I had a big gap. And then when I was in high school, I started again, I think it was. But in grade 5, 6 in school, we had like an accelerated arts program as well, and I was part of that. So that was fun. I actually remember going on the train as a group. They selected 2 people from each of our class to be in the like accelerated art program type thing. And we went in on the train to see a Renaissance exhibition that was on in the city at the time. That was pretty cool, actually. It's pretty cool that they did that for grade 5, 6s. I feel like that was a lot. It was, I don't even remember if she was like a teacher. I feel like she was like outside of the school, but they must have paid her, you would think. I'm not really even sure. I should ask my mom. She might know how it all went down. As just a product of it, I don't really remember the process of it that well. I do remember doing like extra liner prints in there and things like that, which were fun. We had like an extra art class a week, which was amazing for me. I don't even know what we missed. But yeah, no, it was awesome. I loved it. I'm going to start working up this side a bit more now. Probably should have worked up at the same time, but it's hard to focus on every part of it at the same time. Alright, these are the ones that are a bit different anyway. But hopefully I'll be able to make them look natural still. This one has a fair bit of detail compared to the other ones. The other ones are fairly out of focus, so where the camera's doing its best to make it work, but it's missing a lot of the extra information that, while it might not be important in the photograph at the time, and down the track it could be. It makes complete sense. Yeah, I've always really done art. I've always really drawn and painted. I've drawn a lot over my life. I remember when I couldn't sleep at night I don't know what age I would have been. It was definitely like just out of primary school or elementary school, here you'd call it. I remember when I couldn't sleep at night, I would sit in bed and draw pictures of me and my friends. Usually me and my best friend. I have one of them here. It's not very good, but it's cute to have. Cute to have the memory. And I was just learning. I mean, we're always learning, so. I love when you have like multiple colors on your brush at once and you can like roll it and get different colors coming out in the one brush stroke. You can see it in this one here. I see the green and the white, but they sit together differently when you roll it like that. Using the side of the brush rather than the tip. I mean, it depends how you're painting, whether you're painting like more realistically, you might want to like blend the edges and soften them up a bit. But the way I'm painting today, I haven't really done any soft edges. I don't know, I'm just kind of placing the brush strokes on top of each other and really just throwing it all out there, seeing what sticks. The way I used to paint was with a lot more soft edges, but I don't know, I kind of like the hard edges. I like the grittiness of it and the boldness of it. Soft edges are like a lot more whimsical and flowy and renaissance-y looking. Impressionist looking. It's not quite the vibe I'm going for right now in my practice. I've got quite a few paintings where I was painting that way, but it's just not my focus right now to paint in that style. I'm trying to see how I can do intuitively and see how it lands. Getting a bit muddy, hey? Colors are mixing a bit much and then they all kind of start looking like the same color. It's not ideal. Oh, phthalo green on the palette. More yellow ochre as well. Mixing the yellow ochre, the phthalo green, and the raw umber right now. I had that color over there and it was just not sitting on the canvas the same. So I definitely needed to mix a fresh one up. Maybe it was the brush, but there wasn't much left anyway, but the brush definitely, like, I should really be using like what, 4 or 5 brushes right now. I shouldn't be switching all around the colors in one, but I don't know. Sometimes I work like that, sometimes I don't. Depends on the day a little bit. I do like these paints, how they do sit on top of each other pretty well when they're wet even. Sometimes I find with oil paints, they won't even like sit, like you're just like, I'm gonna have to wait for this to dry and then figure that out because I can't get anything to sit on top of that, it just slides right off. Which if you were not an oil painter, that probably would sound very odd. But by slides off, I mean like stays on the brush, it doesn't come off the brush. That doesn't happen so much with these paints. Especially if you're like working with the different mediums and then you can like scumble a bit on top, which is what I'm doing now, where you can see a bit of the colors coming through. It's like that wispy sort of brush stroke. Not a solid brush stroke, it does look very pretty scumbling. Gotta use it on top of it. Not too much, just the right amount. I know that look where there's not enough paint on the brush. Can really help give definition to a spot where you haven't got a lot of definition. I think too, when you're putting like the really high contrast on like the dark green to the really light green on top, really adds a punch. That's a serious punch. And we're gonna have a little stretch break here. Okay. I'm just going to put a little bit of it over here. I don't want to put too much because I was sitting back and having a little bit of a look. I want to put a leaf in here in that section there. I might just use like really dark colors. And I'm going to put a little bit of the lights up here, but really not too much. I want them to look super sketchy because I like the way they look right now, so I don't want to lose that. Just going to chuck that in for a little bit of this one. A pretty green, this one. A little bit in a few spots because I like the color of it. Like a very vibrant mid-tone. You don't usually get mid-tones this fiber, that's for sure. Don't want it to be too much. I don't think I'm going to put much in here. I'm going to put a little in here as well. I really want like this kind of flower. Or umber and the phthalo color, the phthalo green. I think that's all I'm going to do on that one. I don't love it. Yeah. I want to scumble a little bit. Might have been too much. And this brush off pretty well, and then I want to make a few darks here. And behind here. In this section here. This is where I'll soften the edges a bit because I don't want it to be, I really want it to sit in the background. I don't want it to be a focal point at all. So I'll grab my favorite edge softening brush if I can see where it is. Here she is. This one here. It's so good for softening edges. It's an old brush. It's a round one. It's all fluffy. So I always keep this dry and I always use this to soften and blend in my edges. Just rubs it around a little bit and makes no hard lines. And my favorite little edge softener there. I may soften a few edges elsewhere, but I don't want to stand out too much. That blend between the soft and the hard might actually be a real asset in here as well. As long as this hasn't dried too much on me. Holy man. Crazy. Guess they dry out quicker than regular oils. I have to soften these edges before they dry. I think it's going to help make this pop a lot more if I have a bit softer edges on reflection. I don't want them all soft, I just want a bit of a mixture. Just in a few areas. Make it look natural to soften. Where they're shouting a bit too loud and calling for a bit too much attention. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this painting session here for now. I'm going to chuck a few more darks in here. I'm going to try out my new palette here and leave the wet, not clean up essentially, leave the wet paint on here. I need to purchase a blade to scrape it off if it dries, because I'm sure it will. Some of it will dry. Not purchased that yet, so I will do that soon. I think they weren't very expensive on Amazon. And let's stand back a bit and see how it's feeling. Yeah, it's setting really well. I might add a bit more of the darks just down here quickly. Call it a day. I'm going to use my fluffy brush because I want it to be... she's got... brush, I should use it more. I love one of these because the hairs are so soft on it. It's different than my other oils. I don't know why. See? Got it for a different type of paint and then just used it for oils. Usually you use like the bristle brushes, not the soft brushes, right? Traditionally, I like to use both, clearly. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. We can add more definition later. I'm gonna leave my palette where it is. Clean up my brushes. Put the lid on. So I'll give you a review on how this works when we get back. I think I got it on properly. Okay, I think we're good now. So let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching and being here today. I really appreciate it. It's probably going to be a long video again, I don't know. But I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Much love. Bye. Have a great rest of your day. And today is a great day to go and make some art. Okay. Okay, bye.